Oh, Lep in the Hood come to do no good. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
Why didn't you rap it?
Because Warwick Davis doesn't.
And like essentially that's exactly the cadence that those girls who were singing, like they did not sing with the music at all.
I
So
can't wait to talk about how terrible all of the rap is in this movie.
it's not great.
This is episode 115 of I Hope You Suffer. My name is Nathan
I'm Kit, probably.
Boomhauer.
Boomhauer.
Yes. I think I'm definitely the butch of the group.
Alright, I don't know who Butch is.
Yeah,
What?
I don't know what that
Post
means.
Postmaster P, Butch, and Stray Bullet?
Oh, I literally forgot all of the characters of the
Yeah.
I am the fifth King of the Hill guy, Butch.
There's a Leprechaun. Ice-T is in it. I assumed named Ice-T. Then a
Yes.
Butch.
I'm definitely whoever Slug was.
The guy who died in the very beginning.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
If you haven't guessed yet, we are talking about 2000's Leprechaun 5 in the Hood.
Such excitement right there.
Yeah, this is not great.
I don't know how we're gonna talk about this film, honestly.
Very carefully.
You know, I had to say, like, it wasn't, like, it's by no means great as far as being, as far as the content goes, but it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
Well, so the issue is, like, it's not impossible to watch. Like, I don't hate it. I've watched it numerous times over my life, but I always tend to forget how problematic it is. But it also has 6 writing credits by, as far as I could tell, all white men.
I mean, you can tell, for sure.
A bunch of dudes that have heard 2 rap songs their entire life.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's not great. I guess before we jump into the movie, Patreon shout out to Meat Shake Monster and the person that picked our latest bonus episode on Jean-Claude Van Damme, Nolan from This Mortal Mountain.
Woo!
Yeah, thanks Nolan. Everybody can hear the stupid ass drop I made.
Blend up some meat and pumpkin spice it. Give it to me as a shake.
If I asked you if I gave you a big bowl of chili, might it affect your memory?
But what's the movie going to be called? Really?
I know what it's going to be called.
Yeah, what's that?
If it's got Carrot Top in it, you know what a good name for it would be?
What's that, Norm?
Box Office Poison.
Nothing gets you high like drugs.
That's like 30 seconds of nonsense finally for this level.
Oh yeah, we haven't heard the new one.
Yeah. Everybody could hear
It's just an extended bass drop.
the prosecutor asking about Alex Jones having too much chili.
Oh my god.
Sometimes I just have a big bowl of chili.
Listen, I wish I could have a bowl of chili that's good enough to make me remember my children's names.
To forget them.
Yeah.
Come to Ohio. Get you some Skyline. Alright, yeah. So, Leprechaun in the Hood. Directed by...
Come to do no good.
Yeah. Lep in the Hood.
Come to do no good. Let's just do that for an hour and a half.
I'm gonna just loop the song under the entire episode.
Have
I
it
don't
increasingly grow louder, so by the last half hour, you just can't hear us.
It's just noise.
I don't really like his use of the word lep.
No,
I don't
I
know
hate
why. It just doesn't, it just like doesn't
It-
hit me the right way.
It sounds like he brought leprosy to the hood.
Or something, yeah. Oh my god, I was trying to like look this up so I could like write down people's names or whatever, and I got to like the LEP part, and it just like popped up with a huge picture, and I was like, can you not? Can you just wait? Of like somebody was yeah.
All right, this movie directed by Rob Spira, written by William Wells, Alan Reynolds, Rob Spira, Doug Holt, John Hoffman, Mark Jones. Starring
Matt Hoffman, Tony Hawk,
Yeah,
Ern Glifberg,
Mark Hoppus.
Steve Buscemi.
Stars Warwick Davis, Ice-T, Anthony Montgomery, Rashawn Null, and Ivory Ocean, who was Officer Morgan in the Scofflaw episode of Seinfeld.
Yes. I'm confident. I think we can get all of them.
Origins is gonna be rough, I think, because there's only like
yeah.
there's really only like 4 characters in that movie.
The good news is Origins doesn't count, so it's fine.
Yeah, hard agree. I forgot to look to see if there's any good tags on this on IMDb.
I like gun held under chin and stool to face.
Stool to Face. How many films are under that?
Just this one.
Disappointing.
Smoking a
Let's
joint.
see. Nope, Compton, California.
Reference to Paul McCartney.
Reference to Tiger Woods.
Oh my god, the Tiger Woods line is so badly dated. Surprise ending.
I mean, I guess.
How is Hocus Pocus #1 on surprise ending?
Not even gonna look up crossdresser.
Flute. Love Actually. Gross. I don't want to know.
That checks out.
American Pie. Yeah, there's not a lot of really good ones. I think I liked
ripping
this
off a
movie
finger
or-
is just this.
Oh, well, I guess. So my thing with this movie is that, like, the things I appreciated about it is that it reminded me of the first movie a little bit more, where, like, it's completely normal. Like, people are just, like, going about their like, normal lives, and he shows up. It's not, like, super goofy. There are, like, some moments in it that are, like, kind of goofy that I actually thought were funny. And I appreciated that, like, they carried over some of the, instead of like, you know, making up new rules every single time, there's like recurring rules in this one from the previous one.
No, I want new rules.
I just feel
Like-
like how many can you make up?
It's like a new edition of Dungeons and Dragons, but with leprechauns.
Although I felt like the magic in this one was kind of boring because all he did was like force choke people and shit. Like he didn't really.
He did explode that one dude's guts.
Yeah.
That was
He did,
pretty cool.
yeah, he did weird explosion stuff.
I love
Well,
when Ice-T just like looks down like through his
oh yeah.
like from his back. I forgot to. I wonder how much money this was made for, because this one is definitely, you could tell there's like a
$28.
a lack of budget to this one, because I feel like In Space is definitely pretty cheap looking compared to the first 3, but like, you know, they got like CGI going and like sets and all that
A
shit.
monster.
This one's just like the CGI is just green eyes lighting up basically, and
Well, in fairness, they probably spent almost their entire budget on Coolio and Ice-T.
oh my god,
Well,
Coolio showing up for no reason.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like,
Didn't even say anything.
now Coolio's here in his church for what reason? Question. Like he doesn't even. Yeah.
I texted y'all, I forgot Coolio shows up, and then he just never popped up again, and I was like, oh, that's why I forgot.
I would love to know how much he got paid for this.
What What if it wasn't intentional and he just accidentally walked
Just
into this
walked on
thinking it was a
set.
church and they were filming?
They were like, we should just keep it. I mean, it's cool.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I've seen this before. Kit's seen this before. This is the first time for Katie, who I assume thinks this is a 5 out of 5.
Loved it.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the worst movie. It's just problematic as fuck.
Yes, definitely. Like I said, not as proper. I'm assuming they get it, there's more problematic later. It wasn't as problematic as I expected, just because, like, I don't know. I thought it was gonna be a lot worse than it was. And so, like, as just a movie, I liked it. Like the core, like the three boy, I just called them the boys usually.
The boy
I really
band.
liked the boy band in this. I really liked them and their like dynamic with each other. So like I enjoyed the movie from that aspect, because like in space and then whatever that casino one was, I did not like the main actors at all. Like I thought they were just terrible. And this one, it felt just like I said, it felt a lot more reminiscent of the first one, where it was just like a normal movie where the acting is good, and then there's Ice-T.
Well, it's also like, I feel like ever since the first one, it's not like really like friends having to deal with like the threat of the leprechaun. It's just like random people, and this is the first time I think since 1 where it's like friends having to deal with it. Because 2 is like that couple, and then 3 is like the couple that like literally just met before the leprechaun shows up.
Right.
This is like the first time since 1 where it's like a group of friends really like having to deal with this threat, as opposed to just two
Some
people and
randos.
some like stragglers through that like sort of tied to.
Yeah. And I also like liked the idea of them having to deal with the leprechaun, but then having to deal with like Ice-T trying to being like just like a legit dude trying to kill them, and they're kind of like caught in the middle. But also Ice-T is like against the leprechaun or whatever. So like I liked I guess what I'm saying is that I liked the plot of it.
Yeah,
More
it's
than
the like.
It's no Jason Goes to Hell.
I was gonna say the idea is good, but the idea is not good. Like, but
I mean-
the plot isn't bad. Like the idea of being like where everyone else is like, well, we could do space, or we could send them to like this other place. They're like the hood is terrible, but like the plot they came up with of like these 3 friends and like the magic flute or whatever is like not bad. It's just
yeah.
like hire people that understand this world
No, I agree with you. Yeah.
instead of what I'm going to assume are a bunch of like 50-year-old white men who heard like Grandmaster Flash, and that's their like experience with hip hop at the time.
Or like Will Smith.
Yeah.
It is literally they just listened to like one Master P song and were like, what if we named him Postmaster P?
Basically, but then still had them rapping like
Clean rap.
hop, hippity hop, hip hop, hippity hop.
I like that song.
Yeah, that's
Jamming it.
I wrote this.
You wrote the soundtrack.
Yeah,
I like it.
I don't know. I can't tell because none of the people that wrote this have pictures, except for like the director, who is decidedly not black. Yeah, I can't get none of these people on IMDb. Most of them have like 3 credits.
Doug Hall did work on Grownish, Blackish, so maybe.
Doug Hall.
I hope.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Who's
Story
the director-
and screenplay.
John
The director-
Hoffman. Oh, go ahead.
I say the director directed a movie called Stray Bullet the year before he directed Leprechaun 5, starring Stray Bullet. What a world.
See, the only people, I think the director, John Huffman, are the only ones that have pictures come up. John Huffman is super white.
Yeah, he is. He looks like a English teacher.
Oh, let's tell Layla that the director also directed some Supernatural.
I
R.I.P.
think she's.
Supernatural.
Yeah, I
Death
think.
Seal.
I think that Meet You at the Crossroads. If anyone's seen that show, that is a double joke. She's made it past where I stopped watching, so more power to her.
I have not seen a single episode.
I hope
I
never do.
I legit liked it in the beginning, like the first couple seasons, but then it just is like it's just like they needed to stop because they keep doing it's it's just like one of those classic things where they just like found a loophole and like keep exploiting it over and over again, so then it like gets to the point where it's like a season finale and you're like, oh my god, everyone could die, what could happen? And then they're just like, loophole, and you're like, okay, so I don't really care anymore because like death isn't real, and like I don't know, that's not what happened, but I just feel like it's gone on way too long.
I say we keep talking about it, get all the Supernatural fans over here to join our Patreon.
This is a Supernatural podcast.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm down. I do really like the first half of it a lot.
I'm waiting for Super Duper Natural.
Ooh.
It's gonna be way better.
What is it about?
Whatever Supernatural is about, but like better.
Okay.
It's gonna be Supernatural, but they're only going after like food, like not food, but advertisement, supernatural advertisement icons like the Noid. So they can get all like just make a shit ton of money going after company
Product
icons.
placement.
Yeah, product placement.
Yeah.
Lucky the Leprechaun and Boo Berry.
R.I.P. to the bitter beer face.
Oh, what's happening?
I have no idea.
I don't know, but if anyone's still listening at 24 minutes in and we have not started talking about the movie.
Yeah, go and tell us about this trash pile. I'm sure people are probably like, thank God they're just not talking about the election.
Listen, I can't even.
Well, actually,
I'll keep everybody
Oh.
updated that Nevada still hasn't fucking said anything. There you go. There's your update.
Weekly
by
World,
the
it's bad.
by the time this comes out next week, it will still be accurate news probably. Okay, so like essentially this movie opens up with the same scene that the very first one opened up with, where the leprechaun goes down walks down his like leprechaun cave steps, and you see his gold. We don't actually see his face, but it's like literally the same scene, except now they've cut him rhyming about people stealing his gold and stuff. So then we get the credits, which God, I'm just so tired of sitting through credits, I gotta say.
Like in general.
Yes. Like, yes. Especially like those weird ass James Bond ones where there's just like ladies doing weird shit. I'm like, who came up with this? This is the weirdest idea for a thing ever.
Okay, but that for Leprechaun.
If it was like the
can't
silhouette of
believe
the
the Leprechaun movies never did that. Like
A James Bond opening.
yeah, like the shoot at the screen thing, and
Even Friday the 13th did it. I'm like,
Damn.
come on.
Now why? Now I need it. I didn't know I needed that. Okay, so we have a scene of Ice-T. It's like very obviously the 70s because he is wearing some sick like plaid pants and some platform shoes. Looking
Hell yeah.
has
really
an afro.
fresh. Yeah, and he's got like a jacket that has like fur. It's like a fur jacket. It's really cool. Him and his friends, well, I don't know that they're friends. So Ice-T's name is Mac Daddy. Who knows what I'll be calling him in this version. We'll see.
Mac Daddy owned asses.
I'm not saying that.
I will say it every time.
Okay. And his accomplice, Slug, have so basically they're on a treasure hunt, and they've discovered they're like chipping through this wall, and they have discovered just like a case of beer and a burger. And Ice-T is like pissed because like he wants gold, and that guy's like, well, I don't know, the burger's probably still good. And he gets pissed and like throws Slug through a wall, and that's when we see the Leprechaun statue. Not the same Leprechaun statue from the Vegas one. This is like a green. He looks different. It's a green statue, and he's wearing a different medallion. And his pot of gold is there. And so T is like, finds a flute in the pot of gold and takes it. And then he's like, I'll take this flute. You get everything else. And so Slug starts like, the first thing he does is steal the medallion from around. I gotta say, like, this medallion looks cheap as hell. I don't know why anyone's taking the medallion over a pot of gold, but
It might be like, the chocolate coins. Maybe they thought it was like chocolate.
okay.
I'd take it if it looked like it was chocolate.
Maytel would take it, that's for sure. She, so Slug takes the medallion, and he is like, just getting the pot of gold, and the leprechaun like, okay, never mind. Okay. So the leprechaun turns real and takes takes Slug's hair comb out of his hair and then stabs him in the neck with it. T is like, oh man, the leprechaun's there. He's got his gun out and he's gonna shoot the leprechaun, but the leprechaun uses his power to like heat up the gun, I guess. So he drops the gun. This scene was actually pretty funny. He drops the gun, like fishes around in his hair, and pulls out a switchblade knife. And he's gonna like stab him, but then the leprechaun like forces like uses his force powers to like throw the switchblade. So then T reaches back into his hair and pulls out a bat.
I died.
Which I thought that was pretty funny. But the leprechaun basically just like force throws him against the wall, and he's like, dang. The leprechaun, just assume the leprechaun is rhyming the whole time. He does a lot of rhymes in this one. He's like slowly walking up to T because like, I guess he does not care about gold in this one because I guess they didn't actually take any. So the flute is like
it's a gold flute.
Objet d'art in this one. Yeah, it's a gold flute. And so the leprechaun's like, give me my flute back, and he's like walking closer, and there's like some kind of steam pipe on the floor or something, and T turns it on, and like the leprechaun trips and falls backwards, and the metal like flings up into the air and then falls onto the leprechaun, which just was some really good aim. And the leprechaun turns into a statue, but it is a third statue. It's not the statue from the pawn shop before, and it's not the green statue from the beginning. It's like a really gnarly looking, like he's not looking his best in this statue, I have to say.
The biggest mistake in this movie is getting zero backstory on either why Ice-T's character is down there looking for this, or also the backstory of the flute in general.
Yeah, because like, yeah.
I just want to know like the powers behind this flute, or like what, like how it led to like the leprechaun getting it, and you get like none of that. It's just
no, and you can't
transphobia and racism.
Yeah. Yeah, like I do like the idea of like what the boys do with the flute, but like I don't really understand the power of why the leprechaun needs it, because like the leprechaun can just do that magic without it.
Well, I think the leprechaun just has it because it's gold. He's just collecting gold things, like when he steals the guy's tooth in that one thing. Like he has no need for it. It's just gold.
He doesn't care about the power.
Yeah.
It's like Goldmember.
Right, exactly.
Perfect parallel.
What a fucking perfect crossover that would be.
I would love Okay, so now we're introduced to the main squad, which is Postmaster P. I wrote
AOC.
his name as PP, so I'm sorry, but he's PP. Postmaster P, his friend Butch, and his friend Stray Bullet, and they are doing a rap on stage, because they're doing an audition. I didn't understand anything that was going on with their ammonia or whatever they were talking about, but for some reason there's an explosion and it like fries their gear, and the guy who they're auditioning with is basically just like, you guys suck, get out of here. You're not
Well,
going to the
like-
Vegas hip hop cafe.
The
That's
Vegas
what they
hip hop. I
called
know.
it.
So like their overall like plot trajectory is that they're like a hip hop group, but it's like, you know, technically like
Positive.
already gangster rap is pretty much like out of the limelight in 2000. It's already moved on to like, I don't know, whatever. Like I'm assuming this is like when like oh fuck, what's his name? Why just leave my mind? Nelly and shit was like blowing up. And
Nelly
like
Furtado?
no, Nelly.
Doing harsh noise.
Yeah.
Harsh noise was taking over.
Yes. Like, but their entire thing is they're like positive and like positivity, and they're just like bringing the positivity to hip hop or whatever, and it's trash. It is the worst raps I've ever heard. What? What have you heard that's worse?
I have heard worse.
Hollywood
but
Undead.
That fucking
some of
weird.
their-
What's that?
You got a problem, bitch? Throw your hands up. It's you against me. This shit is one-on-one. If you didn't notice, bitch, I don't give a fuck. I'll punch you in the face, cause you're just such a cunt. Fuck you, bitch. I'm a princess. You're not the type of girl that'll end up on my friend's list. I fuck you rich, bitch, and your ass is penniless. When it comes to Facebook, my popularity's endless. Bitch, I'm better than you, and your boyfriend's a loser. He spends all his time watching porn on his computer. Made your girlfriend fall in love with me, but all I did was use her. Made your girlfriend fall in love with me, but all I did was use her.
What does that entail?
What?
What are you saying? What happened there?
What? A Crunk
Which
Chalice?
part? Yeah, the
Yeah.
Crunk Chalice, or me wanting to die and leave and die?
No, I know that. What's a Crunk Chalice?
It's what you were
It-
last
I mean,
night.
It's just like
That was the night before.
a chalice
Oh,
that you put fucking whatever in, alcohol, lean, whatever you want to get fucked up on. It was a whole thing. Like, how did you
Oh,
miss Crunk Chalices?
I don't. I don't know. I
You
didn't.
just weren't a Little John fan.
No,
Katie
I
was
wasn't.
getting crunk 2 nights ago. She was like, I've had like some whiskey and this, and now I'm eating some edibles.
It was something. No, I don't. I don't know anything about that. But it seems like my life was better for it. So,
Disagree.
anyways, yeah. So basically, like the whole thing is that it's positive rap, and it's basically just like be a good person and stuff will happen for you or whatever. And like their first rap is like not the worst thing that I've heard. That the one that he does at the very end where it's just like the same 2 lines over and over again, that one's pretty bad. Anyways, the guy like their equipment explodes and they leave, right? And then they're like they are arguing about the fact that they do that they're rapping about positive stuff, And Stray Bullet is kind of like the one that's like, we need to be doing other stuff if we want to get popular or whatever. And they need to come up with some money to fix the equipment that just got fried. But just like talking about some like science stuff. I have no idea like what all of that was about, but whatever. So they go to a pawn shop and they try to pawn a guitar that they say was Jimi Hendrix's guitar. And the guy is basically just like, you guys are stupid, get out of here. There's this like whole thing with a second pawn shop, which like I didn't really understand the point of this of this except for that, like, spoiler, the pawn shop guy dies later, but like I didn't understand the point of the second pawn shop at all. So I didn't write any of it down.
I think it was just supposed to be that like this is their like grift or whatever to like make money.
Right. But everyone is wise to them.
They go in and they're just like, this is Jimi Hendrix's guitar. And they're like, did like Jimi Hendrix die? Or no, like, is the first one, do they say Jimi Hendrix?
Yeah.
Or is it, like, 'cause I know they talk about the Beatles.
Yeah. It was Hendrix. They say it was from like a show he played in the 70s or something.
In 71. And that guy's like, did he die in 70? So then they're like still arguing. They run into Mac Daddy, and he is like essentially just agrees to like listen to their music, right? So they go back to the office and he's like listening to the music and he's like, all right, it's not much, but it's not the worst, which is basically what I said. And you can see in the office that he still has the Leprechaun statue. But he essentially tells them like, hey, I will sign you to my label, but like you can't be rapping about positive stuff. Like it's got to be about shooting people and this, that, and the other thing. And PP is like, I don't think so. Like this is my dream. And so then Mac Daddy's like, it's very mean to them. He's like very mean in this movie. Basically just like yells at them and is like, you don't get a second chance, leave now. And so they all leave.
Well, I think he's supposed to be modeled after Suge Knight, who like
definitely
was a dick and tried to throw Vanilla Ice off a balcony and shit. I'm assuming that's what like they're going for with it. Ice-T
is
did
it
not
really
return
being
my
a dick
emails.
trying to kill Vanilla Ice?
Yeah. We would not have had the Surreal Life season with Vanilla Ice if he would have got thrown off a cliff.
Ah, shit, true.
I didn't know we did have it.
Yeah, he was on it with I think that's the Tammy Faye.
Vern Troyer, right?
Is it?
Or was that a different season?
I don't know. They all blur together.
Yeah,
because I feel like he was on the season with Ron Jeremy and Tammy Faye Baker, but I could be wrong. But all I remember is that like it was during the period when he was trying to be like a new metal star.
Oh,
and was like super mad about all of his old like 90s pictures, and he was like smashing them throughout the house and shit.
Wow. See, like around this time, I don't know anything relevant to like American pop culture at all, because this is when I was like really into like anime and stuff like that. So like this is all news to me. I have no idea.
Well, we'll do an episode on the Surreal Life at some point.
That's okay. I feel like
this should be an option for a Patreon episode. We each pick our favorite.
We make Katie watch like one season of the Surreal Life.
I don't know if I could last this season.
They're only like 8 episodes, I think, because it's all celebrities, so they're only there for like 2 weeks or some shit.
Yeah,
but that's what spun off into Flavor of Love in the VH1 cinematic universe.
Okay, so they get thrown out. So, I must call him Sugar Bullet. Stray Bullet.
Sugar Bullet is a different thing.
Yeah. Okay. Stray Bullet is basically just like, okay, he's like really pissed. He's like, fuck that guy. Like, we should just go in there and steal stuff from him. And so, I guess my one complaint about this movie is that, like, while I did appreciate all of their, like, real life stuff, I felt like it focused on the people too much, and like we don't get that much of the Leprechaun in this one. I felt like he doesn't do any shenanigans by him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Like, this movie does definitely, like, focus a lot less on the Leprechaun than I feel like the other ones do.
yeah.
He's, like, really kind of... I would bet total maybe 12 minutes of screen time.
Yeah, and like I kind of get it because like there's an actual like real story outside of him, I guess, but the thing that I appreciated about this franchise was that they gave him sort of even screen time, and like I felt like they didn't do that in this one. So there's a bunch of like stuff that I felt like, you know, like going to the second pawn shop, this whole thing where Stray Bullet's like, hey, let's go steal stuff, and PP is like, no, I don't want to, but then the next day he shows up and they're like, I love you, guy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I just felt like there was a lot of stuff to create tension in the group, but they did a good enough job just with this like opening scene that I felt like I didn't need all this extra stuff, but whatever.
There is a lot of shots of them just, like, walking through, like...
Just like doing nothing.
like, what looks like construction sites and, like, moping to themselves with a sunset in the background.
Yeah.
That's my favorite place to mope.
Construction site?
Yeah.
With the sunset in the back?
Yeah.
Some free bricks.
It's a good contrast.
Yeah, here's Xerxes.
Yeah. Come on.
Hey, bro. Merlin just came out here, too. He's staring at me.
They're probably
knows.
hungry.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to wait.
Yeah, because we're, like, barely through this movie. Okay, so they break into Mac Daddy's office, and they just, like, start stealing stuff. And like they're like being pretty aggressive about it. They're like not being sneaky, like quiet at all.
Yeah,
they're like throwing
smashing
shit and yelling. They like kicked in the door. Then so they're like stealing stuff. Then Mac Daddy comes in and it's just like what is going on in here? And then PP accidentally shoots him. And he's like freaked out because he's like, you know, a good guy. But he does steal the flute from him. And I think it's probably Stray Bullet takes... No, wait. Where's the medallion?
I think... Is Butch the DJ?
Butch is, like, the
like,
the
goofy
smart
one?
one.
Yeah. I think he's the one who takes it.
Okay. I don't know, whatever. They get the shit. They think that they've killed Mac Daddy and they leave. They just, like, run out. Then, one of them takes the medallion because the leprechaun comes to life. And they're like, what the fuck? And they just, like, shoot at him a bunch, and then they leave. Mac Daddy, turns out he's not dead because he is wearing a necklace that was big enough to stop the bullet, so good on him. And, like, he sees the leprechaun, he's like, well, that's not great, and he runs, and he goes to a bar to call for backup. The scene was just... if nothing else, we have this scene, right?
What
so
a curious aroma.
He basically, like, calls for backup. I like this because he's just like, bring the craziest shit you have. Bring the craziest guns. I want machine guns. I want rocket launchers. Like, bring everything you can. And so he goes into the bathroom to kind of, like, calm himself down. And he's just like, all right, just calm yourself down. Just smoke some weed. You'll be fine. So he starts smoking weed, and he's got... And the leprechaun shows up and says, yeah, oh, what a curious aroma. And so T just, like, passes the joint to him.
It rules because he's propped up on, like, the counter, so he's, like, Ice-T's height, but he's coming at him like he's, like, a fucking curious bird. He's got his, like, head all cocked sideways and, like, slowly coming towards him.
Yeah, and so T's like, here.
So at this point, the leprechaun has to be, like, 8,000 years old. How has he never come across weed before?
It took him this long to break edge.
Yeah.
I guess so, because, like, there's no alcohol in this one, I guess.
His His cave is not conducive to growing marijuana plants.
I'm going to figure out if I can like edit out just the rap parts of when the Leprechaun raps later and just like put it over Hatebreed fucking breakdowns. Now that
What are those
he was Edge
mashup videos?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so essentially T is just like, this weed is dope, here you go. And the Leprechaun is like, man, this is great. Takes a hit and he says, a friend with weed is a friend indeed. So then, they're kind of like vibing over this weed, and but the Leprechaun's just like not nice because he says knock knock, who's there, Goldfinger or something, and just like rips off Mac Daddy's finger. And he's just like, ah, when he runs. I was like, all right. So the Leprechaun like follows him out of the bathroom and hears like the rap playing in the bar, and he's just like, oh, what is this? And the bartender's like, what? And like eventually he just electrocutes the bartender for whatever reason. So the boys are now like back at the pawn shop, and they're trying to like trade the stuff that they stole from Mac Daddy to get more music equipment. And PP is just there in the back, blows on the flute. We can't hear the flute make any noise, but you basically like the pawn guy and then his other two friends like basically go into a trance whenever he's like blowing on the flute, and somehow the Leprechaun also can sense that he's using it, I guess, or he can hear it. Maybe it's like a dog whistle but for leprechauns. The Leprechaun, okay, so this part didn't make any sense to me because I had no idea who this guy was.
Coolio.
No. Jackie D? I must have like missed something because like he showed up and whoever Jackie D is was basically just like, you're crazy if you think you're gonna steal from me or whatever. So then when the Jackie D goes outside, he like pretends to be Jackie D's ex-girlfriend or something. I have no idea. And he's like starts feeling her up and stuff, and she's like, yeah, and then she's like getting all gross.
Oh,
and she turns around and kills him.
yeah.
And I was just like, I don't understand this part at all. But whatever.
I don't remember who Jackie D is, but this was the first point of the movie that I was like, oh no.
Bad things are coming.
So this is like, he's always got to like pretend to be a lady to seduce somebody. So that's what he did in the film.
I feel like somebody writing this watched Phantasm for the first time right before they started writing.
I gotta say though, like I didn't really think there was any cool kills like there have been.
No, it's all like pretty basic.
Someone gets choked, or yeah, the whole part was cool, but we'll get to that. So the boys are like having a party to celebrate getting the music gear or whatever, and PP is sad about it because he wants to live like a straight life, and then Mac Daddy like shows up and is pissed, obviously, and this part is pretty funny too. He's just like, I don't care if you guys jump off the roof or if I shoot you, like you're just gonna die, so like give me the flute. And he goes to shoot them, but like his finger's missing, so he can't like pull the trigger, and he's like, ow, and he like drops the gun.
Ice-T is absolutely like the saving grace of this movie.
He really is.
Just wait till we get to the next one. It's brutal. There's like no like fun. Xerxes, calm down.
He's like not having
I
it.
gotta feed him. He's like, this movie is terrible. Why did you make me watch this?
Stop talking about the
Getting
movie
back.
and feed me.
All right, I'm gonna feed him real quick. So just, I don't know, say mean things about me.
Okay. thought that they were gonna just, you know.
I wish he had smoked more weed.
They should just do Scarface,
Yeah.
but with Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun, playing Tony Montana.
That's what I assumed this was. What happened? Oh yeah. So Mac Daddy like couldn't shoot because his finger's gone, and so they're all like and they jump off the roof and run. Then the boys go to see Miss Fontaine
Ugh,
to stay there.
this is the
I
worst
don't.
part.
Yeah, I don't really like. This is like another part. I was like, I don't know. Did they just go there because they didn't think anyone would know to look for them at their at the apartment? I'm not really sure because basically they go to stay there, and Miss Fontaine asks for them to rap for her.
So this entire scene, I genuinely feel like they were just like, we need more of a body count. So they're trying to come up with characters. They were just like, you know what's funny? A man in a dress. You know what's funny? A black guy dressed up as a woman. Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah, I was like, but then I was like, when did this come out? 2000?
Oh, it checks out for the time.
It seems about right for that time. Yeah, I guess maybe they were just trying to up the body count because then the lines that they give the Leprechaun whenever he shows up there, it was super gross, and I was like, well, that checks out for 2000.
Oh yeah,
but
the Leprechaun shows up and says, I quote, "I'm not here to play with fruit. I'm looking for my flute."
yes.
What sucks about it is if you wanted
Everything.
if you wanted a body count, you could have very easily done a rival hip hop group, or their entire thing is they're trying to get to whatever the fucking hip hop tournament thing or whatever in Vegas. Do that. Go to some other place that has a bunch of people, instead of making some terrible trans jokes.
Yeah. So anyway, they're putting on a show for Miss Fontaine, and there's a guy that lives upstairs that comes out and yells at them, and it's just you need to stop because that sucks, essentially. Then meanwhile, you're getting this other scene of the Leprechaun going to the second pawn shop, who's owned by the shopkeeper Chow, and the Leprechaun literally just chokes him and then puts his body parts in jars, and I was like, okay. What?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't. Also, I'm like, why is the leprechaun? I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, so Chow, who just wanted to dance in their music video, is now never gonna live up to that dream, sadly.
And do the funky peasant.
That's right. That's right. So basically, that guy comes out and yells at them. Everybody goes back inside the apartment except for PP, who is basically just like, man, we really suck. This sucks. He's finally realizing that they just suck, right? So then he blows on the flute, and the guy who yelled at them basically comes back out and is just like, hey, play some more. So then we cut to the boys rapping for a whole crowd, and the crowd loves it. They're going wild, but PP is still sad about it because, he knows he's figured out that the flute makes people I don't know, think you're great or something. He's not controlling them, but if he blows the flute, they like him. I don't really know.
It's a hypnotized kind of form of thing where
right.
For that period that they're playing songs or whatever after they use it, it makes people think they're good.
Yeah.
Or
it's essentially auto-tune, but it's a flute.
Yeah, it turns them into T-Pain.
That's right. Dudes are I just wrote dudes are gross to Miss Fontaine.
I thought you just gonna say dudes are gross. And I was gonna be
yeah, checks
yeah,
out.
Essentially, dudes are gross. Then the Leprechaun comes in and has a back and forth with Miss Fontaine, which is great, not great. I was gonna say gross and not great, and it came out great. It's not. It's the opposite. But Miss
Cutting
Fontaine
all the rest
is
of that out, so you're just it's great.
It's great. Miss Fontaine is like super into the Leprechaun and says something like, "You're just the size for Miss Fontaine." And I was like, a child. Child size is great.
I would not put it past
takes-
these writers to make that the fucking joke.
I mean, yeah, I'm not really sure what's happening here, but basically Miss Fontaine takes the Leprechaun into the bedroom, and the boys start hearing yelling, and when they peek in on Miss Fontaine, it appears that they're doing it. But
The
what is
Leprechaun's,
actually happening
on top of her, and just
under a blanket?
yeah, the noises that are coming out of the room, it sounds like moaning as opposed to necessarily harmful things. So they're just like, whoa,
Right.
Miss Fontaine's getting fucked in there, and they for some reason decide to open the door.
Again, because then we see they close the door and we see that it's actually the Leprechaun on top. I don't know if he's stabbed or what he did, but Miss Fontaine is bleeding and dying. And then I think they look again because somebody is like, oh, that's not great. And so then Butch just does some science stuff to a pad that they have. And so they essentially just taunt at the Leprechaun to come out. So he comes out, steps on this pad, and the pad lights him on fire. And then they just leave. And so they then, even though the Leprechaun has already followed them to this one place, all of a sudden PP decides that he needs to go visit his grandmother. And I was like, that seems like a bad idea, guy.
It's
whatever.
extremely important. You're being hunted down by a leprechaun to visit your family.
Yeah, I guess. So basically, I love her because she is blind. She doesn't know that PP's friends are there, so she's just talking shit about them. And then one of them makes noise, and she's like, "Oh, is that you, Stray Bullet, or whatever?" And he's or whatever his name is, and he's like, "Yes, ma'am." And then she's like, "Oh, okay, hey." And then and then Butch is there, and she asks Butch if he's still a virgin, and he's like, "Yes, ma'am." And she's like, "What's wrong with you? Are your teeth messed up or something?" And he's like, "No." It's just a total grandma thing, you know?
The stuff with the grandma is the best part of the movie.
It really is. So then she's just there's soup in the kitchen, go get some food, immediately trying to feed them. Then there's I don't know, some talk between PP and Stray Bullet I didn't write down, but essentially they now go to their church, and the Reverend is essentially like, okay, you guys can stay here, but this part is just I don't know what was going on here. So he's like, yeah, you can sing here, but we need somebody, you have to sing during the service in the morning. And I thought you said
I did. He just walks around and yells a lot.
that's what Maytel does, but she has a little chirpy meow, so it's not urgent sounding.
He's just
Xerxes sounds like a broken Furby.
This is all waking hours in this house.
Before he was like, I'm hungry, and then you're like, here you go, here's some food. Now he's like, I'm full.
Well, he also does this thing towards when it first gets dark, where I think raccoons or whatever start kind of popping out, where he could smell them through the door, so he'll just go to the door and start yelling at it, and he's just rubbing his face on my laptop now.
Aww, I love him. Okay, jeez, we need him through this trying time. So essentially they start singing a terrible version of a Jesus song, and
Jesus
everyone
loves me, this I know.
Yes,
And if he don't, I'll find a hoe.
that's what it is. It was actually kind of funny. But
it's
everybody
only funny
is-
when Kit recites it.
Oh, now Merlin's yowling. Stop! What is happening?
Cats are taking over.
Do you have an animal that you would like to come yell at us?
But I can get Georgia in here.
okay, yeah, they say a bad rap about Jesus. Everyone's offended and gets up and starts leaving. But then PP uses the flute, so they come back in and are like, "This is the best shit I've ever heard." And then Coolio just like shows up in the doorway, and yeah, they just like do their rap about like instead of singing the Jesus Loves You like a hymn, they're now actually like doing a rap about it. So I don't know. After that, Stray Bullet finally like believes the magic of the flute, and is essentially just like, "Wow, this is great. We're gonna be famous." But then Mac Daddy shows up, and they're like, "Oh shit!" So they go and hide. I thought that this scene was pretty funny too. So the boys go and hide in like a storage room, and they're just like, "It's gonna be fine. We're in this together, right?" And then they're like bumping fists down the line, and then it gets to Butch, and Butch is like, "Right," and he like bumps fists with the Leprechaun, and then they just like sit there for a minute, and then they all yell in unison. I thought was pretty funny. So they get up, they scream, they get up and run. They run into Mac Daddy, and he's essentially just like Mac Daddy's like, well, or no, PP I think asks like, well, what are you gonna do about the Leprechaun? Mac Daddy's just like, fuck that Leprechaun. I don't care about him or whatever. And PP's like, well, he's right behind you. And Mac Daddy's like, I'm not falling for that. But the Leprechaun is actually behind him, and he blows a hole in Mac Daddy's like bodyguard guy, which they look through.
Yeah,
which is
Ice-T
pretty cool.
just like bends over and like looks through it from like the back.
And then he's just like, nope, and he runs. So now, meanwhile, the boys have gone into the Reverend's office, and the Leprechaun is like trying to break down the door, and the Reverend is like taking money out of a big safe essentially, and he's just like, oh, what is happening in here? This is crazy. And one of them is like, hey, I have an idea. So the Leprechaun's trying to break in the door, and it just so happens that the Reverend has like a person-sized safe. So they like roll the safe over in front of the door and then open the door, and the Leprechaun just runs into it.
Which should trap the Leprechaun based on Leprechaun 3.
So,
Oh, was that 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a theory. So the boys are basically
Back in town.
Oh, is it back in town? I don't.
Great, now we're gonna get
Yeah.
sued.
I'm excited to hear
break.
what that sounds like with the lag. Like, there's been other times where we've been like singing things or whatever, and it sounds normal to us, but then when you hear it, it just like doesn't make any fucking sense. So, okay, so they trap him, and the Reverend's like, literally like, you guys like. They're like, okay, cool, like we can still make the competition in Vegas, we'll just go. And the Reverend's like, excuse me, you can't leave this like demon Satan creature like with me. And they're like, just don't open the safe, it'll be fine, we're gonna go do Vegas Cafe and then we'll come back or whatever. And the Reverend's like, okay, I guess. And then the Leprechaun from inside the safe says a rhyme and summons zombie fly girls. And I was like, what is a zombie fly girl? Because I was thinking, like, the bug, like an insect.
Oh.
And I was like, what is that going to be? I don't know.
Zombie J-Lo.
Yeah. So then we're back at the boys use the flute. They're doing the audition again. And this time, like, the guys like them. This girl shows up to the Reverend and they just basically say a bunch of really gross like church entendres where he says he's got the gift of tongues. He is like stoked to see her. And he's like going in to kiss her, but her eyes glow green. So I think he like first of all, I don't know why he still is able to use magic in there. Maybe it's not. Maybe they like trap. I don't know. I assumed that like one of the girls came and let him out, but then why could he use magic?
Well, because in the other one, like, it was specifically wrought iron, so I'm guessing this one isn't.
But couldn't he just use magic to like undo the combo?
Who knows? It makes zero sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
No truth in this art.
Okay, but he could still oh my god. He could still use magic in the other safe too, because remember he put his pot
Yeah,
of
that's
gold in
true.
that guy. So I think he can't. So yeah, I assume he used his like magic trance powers, and then one of. I was thinking magic trance as in like the song, like music. Not. Anyways, he like summoned one of the ladies, and the ladies let him out because the Reverend goes in to kiss a lady, and then the leprechaun just like stabs his
Oh
body through
no,
with
the
his.
the Reverend is trying to go down on a lady because he said something about like speaking in tongues or some shit, and like it's super gross towards her when he thinks she's just
Yeah,
like a stray coming into his flock.
yeah, I said that. Yeah, so he's dead. So basically, they just like show the boys rapping again. They're really excited because they're like, "Yay, we did great." Then some like random record executive guy comes in and is just like, "Hey, cool, you guys are going on to Vegas, and I think you have a pretty good shot of winning there, and then we'll sign you." And they're like, "Yay!"
I can't remember what like the label was called, but they're like, "You're from whatever label, the most famous hip hop label in history."
Yeah,
And it's some old white
um,
dude.
with like a cowboy hat on. Um. Then the zombie girls show up, um, and they're like, "Oh, cool party!" But then the leprechaun's also there, and he's like, "Hey, give me the flute," and they're like, "I don't know what you're talking about." He uses his force power to make Stray Bullet point a gun at Butch, and he's like, "Listen, give me this flute, or your friend's gonna die." And I don't know, a bunch of stuff happens, but the leprechaun ends up making Stray Bullet shoot himself, and then Butch is just like, the shit's over, like, go home, we're not gonna do this
Yeah,
anymore.
the leprechaun like controls his hand and has him point the gun at Butch, threatening to like have him shoot Butch, and then like they're like, no, fine, like whatever, and he's just, I forget, like I think he like Stray Bullets like says something to the leprechaun, and he just like makes the gun under his chin and like makes him shoot himself or whatever.
Yeah, he's dead. Um, Now, okay, so the leprechaun shows up at PP's grandma's house, and she thinks that he's just a little friend. And she's just like, "Oh my gosh, you have arthritis." Like she's like feeling his gross hands and is essentially thinks that he's just like fucked up,
So
right?
your
And so
hands are all knotted up.
yeah, she's like, "Go wash your," she's like, "Go clean up and I'll make you some food." And she was like, she's basically just like, "You're gross," like whatever. She's like, "Oh," so she thinks he's got arthritis, so she's like, "Oh, let me let me feed you." And so she's feeding him like potatoes or something, and he's like into it at first. He's just like, "Yeah, this is really cool." And then she just accidentally stabs his eyeball out. I was like, "Oh my god."
These things
What?
happen.
I guess, but then like we don't see what happens to her, right? It just like
I don't think so. Not that I remember.
it just cuts to like PP having a dream where he answers the door and like dead Stray Bullet is there, but then he wakes up to actual knocking, and when he opens the door it's Butch. Um so yeah, I don't think we know what happened there, I guess. And Butch is essentially just like, "Hey, I know you're gonna go after the flute. I'll come help you." And basically Butch is like, "Hey, so I read Leprechaun for Dummies, and I know how we can like stop him if he like holds up a joint, and he's essentially just like, there's 4-leaf clovers in here, so we just need him to smoke this joint, and then um we can knock him out or whatever. And I know I know the hotel that he's staying at." So PP and Butch decide that they are just going to pretend like they are ladies to sneak into the leprechaun's hotel room. There's like a whole montage of it. Um And so they go to the hotel and are, I guess, like playing poker with the other zombie girls or whatever. And like they pass the joint around, and so those girls like snap out of it after saying, what's the rhyme?
I don't know.
The one that you guys kept saying it in the beginning.
I
Okay.
I can't remember now. Was it like the... Wait, no. Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What? You guys said it like 50 times in the beginning.
Was it like the tagline of the movie?
I'm drawing a blank.
What? Something about he's up to no good.
The lep in the hood come to do no good?
Yes, that. They
I
say
don't
that.
recall ever. I never said that.
What? Okay. They so they snap out of it, and then can you get out of here? The
Rude.
they go up to the leprechaun's room, and his face is just like, "Hey, guy," and the leprechaun's like pretty gross to them, and PP like sits on his lap, and the leprechaun is like essentially asking him for a BJ, but then he's already smoked the 4-leaf clover joint, so he like passes out.
The leprechaun's face as he's trying, because he says something about like, I don't remember what the rhyme is, but he's just like blah 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 something going
Something about
downtown,
going
and then
downtown.
there's like
Yeah.
just like the most like lecherous face at him. It's pretty gross.
Yeah, because his like eyes roll back into his head, so you're like not sure what's going on, but then he actually passes out, but it was pretty gross for a minute. So PP steals the flute. They run downstairs, but fucking Mac Daddy has showed up, and he shoots Butch, who dies, and I was really sad. Pour one out for him. Then Mac Daddy like has the medallion and is essentially just like, hey, give me the flute. Like, we have to work together because like you're not going to defeat the leprechaun without me. And PP's like, I don't think so. And shoots him. Then the leprechaun comes down, and they have a back and forth, and he's like doing an Irish accent, and they're like rhyming at each other, sort of like a rhyme off.
Yeah.
And basically then we get this like return to earlier in the movie where PP asks the leprechaun, okay, but what are you going to do about Mac Daddy? And the leprechaun's like, I'm not falling for that. But Mac Daddy's really behind him and hits him over the head with the chair. And then the leprechaun just like explodes Mac Daddy's chest. And
my favorite thing about these movies is they'll do something like stupid, like hit it with a chair, and they're like, well, that's taken care of.
okay, but also after they set him on fire and shot him a bunch of times, and you think just hitting him with a chair is going to do anything?
Maybe that's his
Yeah,
weakness.
maybe it's just wood.
I mean, I guess no one's tried it.
Worth a shot.
So the leprechaun, okay, so he explodes Mac Daddy's chest, and Mac Daddy kind of like falls and like flings the medallion, and you see the medallion in the air, and then you hear the leprechaun scream, but it cuts, and you're like, okay, maybe whatever happened in the beginning happened again. But then we cut to PP rapping. He's literally just saying the same phrase over and over again, and there's like fog, and there's like lights everywhere, and people are like, yeah, loving him, but then he takes his sunglasses off, and he's got glowing eyes because he's being controlled by the leprechaun.
Who taught him everything he knows.
Got leapt.
Yep. And then
I feel like the writer's room was just like, look, we've written enough raps. Just fuck it. Who cares?
yeah, who cares at this point? And then we get a scene of the leprechaun rapping and turning girls into zombies in a bar. And then
That's not just a scene. It's a revelation.
It's basically a music video.
I taught him everything he knows. Oh, yeah. Come from the land of the Irish Spring. Dublin's the place where I learned my thing. From the Emerald Isle to your place in the hood, I'm the man of green, come to do no good. Left in the hood, come to do no good. Left in the hood, come to do no good. Blunt is dope, this place is hype. There's a lassie, she's just my type. I hate to resort so soon to marry. Haven't been late so long, it's tragic. I'm so bad, I'm good. I'll show you what to do, so lend an ear. Don't worry, little lassie, you've got nothing to fear. Sit with the lad who's lean and clean, and let me show you why I'm a love machine. Come to do no good. I'm a wee green guy who's new to town. Show me what you do when you get down. I'll go up, you go down. We'll cause a scene, you'll love the groove. Left in the hood, come to do no good. Left in the hood, when we're bad, we're good. From the cliffs of Moor to your front door, better turn up the lights and pray some more. We're gonna party through the night until the dawn. Then you and I are gonna get it on. Left in the hood, come to do no good. Left in the hood, come to do no good.
Like, yeah, kind of. But it's just like him walking around the room, like rapping and turning girls into zombies.
Warwick Davis is the worst rapper.
He's not great.
I knew at some point he rapped and like all that. Like I just forgot how fucking bad it is.
Left in the hood, come to do no good.
Oh, I know this Rar Nezzles cringe rap thing again.
Yeah, it's the best.
I have seen this. Well, that was Leprechaun in the Hood, guys.
Oh man, next week's not gonna be fun.
I don't remember anything about Back to the Hood.
I don't really either, because it's the one I almost never watch if I do a full rewatch. I usually get to this and I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm good. I know. I remember at some point I feel like it takes like the main like there's something about like a priest or something in it, I think, like a preacher, and then I think I remember the ending taking place on like a construction site or some shit, but
I just hope the tagline is Lep in the Hood, back up to no good.
Definitely not that good, not that clever.
Wow.
Oh god, we're doing that and Origins on the same day. It's gonna be
That
so
was
bad.
stupid.
Yeah, so that was Leprechaun in the Hood. Masterpiece question
It was
mark.
no good.
Alright, let's see if I haven't looked at Weekly World News in 2 weeks. They better have an update. News better still be happening.
I think they just... Yeah, I think they gave up.
Can you blame them?
Driver drags boulder across 3 states. Just a semi-truck with a boulder stuck under it. Oh.
What?
That asteroid that was going to hit Peoria on Election Day ricocheted back into space.
Damn.
Unfortunate.
Iowa couple abducted by UFO, disappointed they weren't probed.
Oop.
Man sells soul to devil, devil wants refund.
I love that meme.
Hibernating man getting ready, goes to bed in November, wakes in April. That would be a bummer. Yeah, that's it. Then news scheduled to end. Still.
Still ending.
Yep. Alright, Katie, do you have any actual news?
You'd think after 2 weeks there would be news, but not a lot of relevant stuff. I saw that Jordan Peele is set to produce a new take on People Under the Stairs, which I'm kind of looking forward to because I remember that movie scaring the shit out of me.
I haven't watched it in a while.
No, I haven't either.
I don't remember it holding up great, but I still like it.
Yeah. But a new take on it could be cool. And then they finally released a teaser for Willy's Wonderland.
Hell
yes,
yeah.
It looks so good.
Yeah, so I don't even remember when we first like reported on that, like last year sometime. Looks really crazy. I like the like it's a super short trailer. It's like well, it's not even a trailer, it's a teaser, so it's like 15 seconds, right? But I really like the way that it's shot. Like the colors looked really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm into it. That's pretty much it that I thought was relevant.
I feel like, especially the last week, I don't think anybody's bothering to try to release any news at the moment.
No, I mean, like I said before, it is a lot of like this new movie, but I'm like, I don't really like care about any of it yet because who knows when it's a thing.
I feel like everybody was probably like, let's see if we still have a country after this week. All right. Did you guys watch anything good lately since the last episode?
No.
Same. I watched this. But watching 90 Day Fiancé, so.
Oh my god. I watched let's see. We watched the animated show Close Enough, which is made by J.G. Quentel, who did Regular Show, and it's essentially just like Regular Show but for adults. Like they are adults. And it was pretty funny. We actually really liked it, and I'm like bummed it's only 8 episodes. But I liked that. And then a few months ago, I had talked about that Nick Frost, Simon Pegg show, Truth Seekers, where they're like paranormal investigators or whatever. I've watched about like half of the season, and it's actually like very different than what I expected, but I really like it. And it actually stars Nick Frost. Simon Pegg is like barely in it, but you know, he's like a part of the writing team or whatever. And essentially it's just like Nick Frost's character is like a cable installer, or like a you know, they come out to your house if you're like having problems, whatever. And he just sort of like encounters this girl who's being like haunted essentially. So it's not, originally I thought it was like they're ghost hunters and they go out and do goofy shit, but it's like it's kind of like a lot more serious, but it is still funny in the way that like a lot of their stuff is. So I'm enjoying it so far. But like I said, I've only watched like a couple episodes, so I'm not that super into it. And then I finally started watching the live action Titans TV show.
How's that?
It's actually not bad, but I've only watched like 2 episodes. So I'm gonna I expected to actually I was like, I remember when like it was coming out and I was like, wow, this looks like horse shit, but it's not bad yet. It's like very different. They took a lot of liberties with the characters and kind of like mixed up the story, which I like sort of appreciate. So I don't know, it's kind of cool. The action is really cool, and they don't use a lot of, you know, because like with a lot of those characters, there's a certain amount of CG you have to do just because like of their powers, like Starfire's power and, you know, Beast Boy or whatever, but it's like done pretty well. So I don't know, I'm sort of looking forward to like watching more of it.
That's interesting. I don't know, I remember seeing that trailer where it was like Robin's dark and cursing, and I was like, no thank you.
Like it is, but I mean, like, you know, that stuff a lot of times tends to be darker, and so like I don't mind it just because I love Teen Titans. It's like, besides Young Justice, Teen Titans is my favorite, and I feel like they don't really go as dark with like the kids stuff, but like the ages are weird in this one too, so I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to it being a little bit darker because most of what I personally watch isn't, and I don't feel like obviously there's a certain level of edge to it, but it's nowhere near as bad as like the Batman movie kind of, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Then I also watched the remake of The Witches, and it was bad. Like, don't get me wrong, I totally understand the movie is not for me. It started kind of cute, but then once you get to Anne Hathaway, I was like, what in the fuck is happening? So, I don't know.
Kit, have you watched the Mortuary Collection?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
How dare you?
Thank you. Whatever. I think you hated it because I said you would like it.
No, I just did not like it. Katie rated it better than Impetigore.
Okay, well that's wrong.
I thought I gave them the same rating.
No, it was a 4 out of 5 or something.
Well,
Maybe holding that grudge.
No, I definitely think that. I definitely don't think Impetigore is something everybody would enjoy.
I disagree.
Like, I mean,
Everyone's dumb.
Kit
okay.
has spoken.
I mean, I agree with that, but I'm just saying. I would more readily recommend Mortuary Collection to people than Impetigore.
Just watch it for Clancy
I mean,
Brown.
that dick exploded. That was pretty tight.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I thought Nathan would like that because there's a dick explosion, but he did not care.
Nah, I don't know. I was not into the movie as a whole. I thought,
What if it had been Clancy Brown's dick that exploded?
I mean, if I could see, I'll see Clancy Brown's dick.
His mouth exploded.
I watched it and then like followed up with Cleansing Hour, which I thought was like much better. So it just kind of, I don't know, did not hit me the way it seems to hit a bunch of other people.
I don't think I watched any like. I haven't watched Cleansing Hour yet.
I think.
Yeah, I haven't watched that.
So-
I don't. Kit would probably enjoy it. I think Katie will like it though, because it seems somewhat up her alley.
We'll see.
The only other thing I watched is Caitlin and I went to the drive-in on Halloween to see Candyman. It was like all I've watched that wasn't been 90 Day Fiancé in like 2 weeks.
Wow.
Rotting my brain out.
I really wish I could go to a drive-in, but I don't have a car, so I don't know how that's gonna work.
Take a bike.
Okay.
I went to
And a phone
the
booth.
fucking drive-through the other night before work, and there was just people standing in front of it, and I was just like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Wow. What?
Which they like hadn't even ordered food yet. They just like walked up to the window after I ordered my food and ordered food. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, you could go inside right now. Like, places are open again. Alright, shout-outs.
Oh.
Katie, you go first then. Since you had, like, apparently were surprised by that.
I know. I don't know how I always forget. Somehow in my mind, talking about what we watched and shout-outs are the same thing, even though I know they're not. Shit. I gotta be really honest. I've been like staying off social media as much as I can. And, I'm gonna shout out the new Nothing album because I really liked it.
Ironically, social media has been fun for the first time in 4 years this week.
Huh?
How?
It was pretty good when we thought he was dying.
Oh yeah, that week was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Oh no, people like
I have enjoyed the memes about like the counting or whatever. I have enjoyed that. I guess what I should say is that I have completely stayed off of Twitter, which is a lot of times how I discover new like podcasts or like whatever, and I've only been on Instagram, so I have been enjoying the memes.
There's been a thread I was like laughing at earlier today of Trump supporters that placed bets of their entire life savings on Trump winning again.
Oh my god.
Like, I placed like $35,000 on a bet and blah blah blah. Now I'm fucking broke.
Fucking idiot.
I'm not gonna
Why would
be
you
able to
ever?
pay rent and blah blah blah. It's so fucking. It's the best part of the election so far.
Yeah, I have been enjoying the memes, but yeah, new Nothing album, The Great Dismal.
I still need to listen to
I
that.
love it.
I don't even know if I ever listened to their last album or not.
They both rule. Listen to both.
Yeah,
I like all
assume.
of them, yeah.
I think was the last one Dance on the Blacktop.
Yeah,
I listened to it once. I don't think I listened to it a lot though.
I definitely liked Tired of Tomorrow like more, but like I don't know. Their first two albums are my favorite, obviously, but I still like all of it, which like is not it's not that common for me to like.
Katie doesn't like bands that didn't start in 1997.
No, I don't. But no, I like because they're another one of those bands that I feel like this album sounds very different than like how they started, which like I mean that obviously that's a thing, but a lot of times I don't really care for the direction that they go through, and so when I saw that this album came out, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll listen to it, whatever. But I actually really liked it, so that's my shout out.
All right, what about you, Kit?
A couple things. So we release Whatever the Fuck We Want Records. Released the TerrorVision soundtrack and the Troll soundtrack today,
Oh,
both of which kick ass.
Hell yeah.
And also, Bong Ripper reissued Satan Worshipping Doom, like remastered.
Oh yeah, I
and
saw
shit.
that today.
So all of those things are great. Buy them.
How is there like a big difference in the quality?
I haven't got a chance to listen to it yet, but
I always felt like
I'm gonna do that as soon as I'm done
I always
here.
felt like that album like sounded pretty good already, so I'll be curious to hear what it sounds like now.
Yeah, because that's what I thought. Whenever I saw a remaster, I was like, oh, weird. It sounded good.
Yeah.
It's not, not like Reek of Putrefaction where it's like, hey, this is just dog
It
shit.
just sounds like it was recorded through mud.
Yeah.
I don't know, 90 Day Fiance.
Which one?
I binged. Caitlin and I binged through like all of Before the 90 Days in like a week, and then the Hulu added the last season that has Big Ed in it of the regular 90 Day Fiance, which is Big Ed was on before. I don't know. It's all blurring together.
I do know who that is.
Yeah, he was on the last season of Before the 90 Days, and it is wild.
He is real gross.
It's weird because everything that everybody was like giving him shit about like is not the shit he really deserved to be getting shit about online. Like he's just like a.
So he's worse than I imagined.
It's
you mean?
like he's definitely very like everybody was like upset about him being like, you should shave your legs, when he just looks like a just fucking mess himself. But like if you actually watch it, he's just kind of like a piece of shit dude.
Right.
Like where he like goes to meet her or whatever, and then he's just like, well, I like they go to like a market or whatever, and it's in, I think they were in the Philippines. And he's just like sweating, and he's like, it's too hot, we need to go back to the hotel. And he's like losing his fucking mind because it's hot, when he lives in like California for one. But he also
do these people like have a online relationship, or they just like get matched?
No, like they're people that met through whatever means. Some of it's Facebook, some of it's like dating sites, whatever. And like, I guess, I don't know, like the more the series goes on, the more I've like looked into things, and you find out that like some of like, there was one season where one guy like created a fake relationship to like promote his business. So like shit like that tends to happen. Like I feel like some of the couples tend to be kind of real, but some of them are very like scripted sometimes, where I don't believe it.
Yeah, that's how like Catfish
Yeah.
kind of turned into like people just trying to get on it for just to be on TV or whatever.
There was one of the season that Big Ed is on. There's this lady in Las Vegas that meets this dude who ends up being like a catfish from Nigeria or some shit. And his name is Williams with an S. It's his first name.
Oh.
And who
Wow.
says he's from...
That's like next level.
He says he's from Manchester, but like when she's like, well, I'm gonna fly out, he can't tell her like what airport to fly into. And so, like, her daughter's just like, this is very strange. And they start looking into it, and it's like, they're like, I'm pretty sure you're being catfished. And then, like, she, like, all of a sudden his Instagram is gone and turns into a different person.
Oh.
And she's just like, I think he got hacked. And then she gets an email that's just like, we have your private pictures. Give us money or we're going to release them to everybody. And she's just like, wow, I think someone hacked into his account and stole my pictures. And now they're trying to get stuff from me. And like,
Oh no.
they're like, her kids show her how to like reverse Google image. And it's like, the picture is just some like generic like workout stock photo dude or whatever. And she's just like, I don't understand why people took his pictures for these. And I'm like, what is happening?
Oh, he's just a model.
Like, she, like, up until, like, the recap tell-all episode, she's still kind of like, I think he's real. We had some deep conversations. And I'm just like, what's happening?
Wow.
He sent me emojis.
He sent me
Oh my
emojis.
god, there's two old people on the show that are, like, dating, you know, what essentially tend to be, like, fake, like, 18, 19-year-old people or whatever. And they're just, like, lose their mind and, like, look, she sent me a bunch of, like, rose emojis. Who does that? That's so cute. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? This was shot last
Who uses
year.
emojis? Wow.
I don't know.
What
like,
a
my
what a ride.
all the time shout out 90 Day Fiance, but I guess
I think you're banned from 90 Day Fiance and Knowledge
I'm
Fight.
caught up on Knowledge Fight, so now
Okay.
have to,
90-day knowledge
I
fight.
did start
Yeah.
I started listening to a 90 Day Fiance podcast, so
No. What?
I think also of something that came out today, the new Soul Glow EP, Songs to Yeet at the Sun, which is really good.
That fucking rules.
All right, next week, Leprechaun back to the Hood, THA, the Hood. Oh boy,
I'm a little nervous, to be honest with you.
You should be.
it's honestly like I don't remember how problematic it is, but I just remember it's fucking boring. So There's-
Yeah, I
there's a reason the franchise stopped for like 18 years or some shit. Like,
yeah. Well, we're getting into the year territory of just like goofy shit that like some of it came back around to being good and some of it's just like the worst stuff ever created. So we'll see.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not great. Origins will at least be fun to talk about because it's just like why was this movie exist? But and then Leprechaun.
Yeah, I'm
Returns
excited
is
for
fun,
that one.
So.
Yeah. We're almost done.
Yeah, and then we can
I can't believe it.
figure out what the fuck we're gonna do for December.
Clowns.
Christmas clown movies.
Are we ready to do clowns? I don't remember.
We've
We
done
did-
clown movies,
did-
not like a month of though.
Yeah, I don't think we
I
need to
don't-
do a full month
I don't
of
want to
them.
watch clowns that long.
No, not at all.
No, we did Clowntergeist. I think,
We,
and then it
Yeah.
obviously. I think that's it.
Kit and I did Space Clown.
Murderous food.
Oh yeah. I was gonna recommend that because I saw like Killer Donut is still on there and shit. We were gonna do inanimate objects, so like Killer Sofa,
I'm in for that if we want to skip
I'll
Christmas
do
that
movies.
then.
Killer Donut. We can try to find some Christmas movies, but I don't know.
I mean, there's a shit ton of Christmas movies. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I don't know why we're doing
Yeah.
this on air.
I don't know. Let us know what you think.
Uh,
Comment below.
About corn
yeah,
that can kill.
and the band.
Yes.
Yeah, also the band. Also, buy me a chain wallet.
Yes.
Big ball chain necklace.
Yes, I need one of those. Mine rusted.
When you sign up for our Patreon, that money will be going to getting Katie a pair of Jinko jeans.
Yes, I need someone to replace my platform sneakers that had flames on the side
Oh my god.
and my dragon shirt that changed colors in the sun.
Well, this is Katie's last episode, so
Listen, it's called fashion.
yeah. As long as you never owned a pair of UFO pants, then I'll allow it.
No, I didn't.
Good.
I had like regular parachute pants though.
I mean, I feel like everybody did because that's all that was being sold in that period of time.
Mine were red though.
You also worked at Hot Topic, so that explains it.
Okay, but that was very, very many years later. But I'm not kidding. I did have platforms with flames on the side, and I would wear them with my red pants. And remember when like that weird flame print was a thing? Like I had flame print shit too. Well, it was such a time. I was Guy Fieri before he even was Guy Fieri.
I feel like Guy Fieri was still doing that at the time.
Well, I think he was just wearing Ed Hardy at the time.
Oof.
Yeah.
God, Ed Hardy was a fucking disaster. All right. Sign up for our Patreon. We'll buy Ed Hardy shirts.
Oh, we have a new merch.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's usually after Patreon, but...
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just remembered, because we forgot last time. We have hoodies now that are so warm you'll feel like we're hugging you. And it's just our classic logo, so go get a hoodie.
Yeah, storefrontier.com/IIPSuffer.
Yeah.
Why didn't we lead off with Leprechaun in the hoodie?
Because we're dumb and forgot.
Damn. Because you weren't here, okay? You were on vacation. This is what happens when you leave.
All of the worst jokes don't come to life.
Yeah, if you join our Patreon, you can listen to our recently released Jean-Claude Van Damme episode.
You can also watch a video of me trying turkey dinner candy corn.
Oh, God.
It was, spoiler alert, by far one of the worst things that's ever happened to me in my whole life. So
Like,
you need to subscribe and go watch
The
it.
idea of the flavor of turkey with the consistency of candy corn sounds horrendous.
Oh my god. So
I
first of all,
hate that.
I fucking hate candy corn. And like even the ones, I'm just spoiling it now, but you should subscribe so you can see my face because I also had a bunch of face paint on, so it looked really ridiculous. Even the flavors that I felt like shouldn't be bad, like cranberry sauce or what was the one, like ginger carrot or whatever. Even those that seemed like pretty normal were very gross, and I can't actually tell. I was like terrified of getting the turkey one, and I don't even know if I did because like towards the end, like they were all the same color, and towards the end I just kept eating them, and I'm like, I think this is stuffing. I don't know, I'm gonna throw up if I keep eating them, so I don't even know. I immediately threw the rest of the bag away. So
Yeah, I would not eat it.
no, it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, if you want to watch that, patreon.com/IIPSufferPodcast.
Yeah, don't make my suffering in vain.
Leave us ratings and reviews on the things. Twitter at IHYSPod, Instagram at IIPSufferPodcast. I don't know, all the stuff. This movie broke my brain.
It's hard. This was a tough
A
week
lot.
for this.
Yeah, a lot happening this week.
I just sit all night at work, just refreshing Twitter, waiting for like anything to happen.
Like, just say it. We know the result. Just fucking say it.
Please, officially.
Just
yeah.
tell us which
I'm so
old
tired of
man is
looking at
going
maps.
to make our lives worse for
Right.
4 years or 2 years before one of them dies.
Right.
All right. I hope you get Crunk, but why?
Pass.
Lights out. Guerrilla Radio.
Cranberry sauce. We're having mashed potatoes. Oh, turkey looks great.
Keep going.
Oh, that's fine. I thought maybe someone else would join in, but
This isn't. This
I don't
isn't.
know what the hell you're singing.
Oh, have you not
What?
watched Bob's Burgers?
thank you for being there. Yeah.
I saw like the first 2 seasons a long time ago.
Oh, it's so good. Lights out, Girl Radio.